Check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul? Coach Paul, can you hear? Check, 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 check. Coach Paul, can you hear me?
I can hear
All
you.
right, there we go. All right, let's get started. Sorry about the delay, everyone. That is all my fault. I'll explain in just a minute, but the show must go on. We cannot leave you guys hanging. Uh, So here we go. Welcome to At the Buzz, our market recap. If this is your first time here, the goal of this session is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that we have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we can take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. Uh, this is our first time meeting. I'm Coach Jay. That is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with Topstep since April of 2023. I've been involved in the futures industry for 4 decades. I'm here to share some of my experiences, some knowledge, and hopefully help you become a better trader.
Thank you for that, Coach Paul. And it's going well, Match Trader Rick. I was not trading Bobby. I know we did have some earnings that just came out, so we'll cover that. Just not feeling great. Not feeling great. I was on vacation for a couple days. Think I came back with the type of flu. Hopefully not COVID. We'll figure it out. Take some cough medicine, and I'll be all right. But I did take some. Took a nap. If you guys know, and you take cough medicine, you probably get a little drowsy afterwards, and that's what happened here. But the show must go on, so let's continue. I'm happy I'm good as well. All right. Take
Coach, can you share the screen?
Yep, I got you in a second. Give me 1 second here. Have that now, Coach Paul.
All right, good.
All right. So let's go over the news really quick. We had existing home sales come out, all the planned news come out at 3.93 million. Forecast was 4 million. We had some earnings come out as well. Uh, AT&T before the open, and after the close, we had T-Mobile, Alphabet, and Tesla. Let's see if we got those numbers already. Tesla earnings per share came out at 40 cents. Estimate was 42 cents, so a miss there. Revenues came in at 22.5 billion. Estimate was 22.64 billion, so a miss there, slight miss there as well. Let's see here. Plans for new vehicles launch in 2025 remain on track, which is good. Google earnings came in at $2.31. Estimate was $2.18 per share. So a beat there. Revenues came in at 96.43 billion. Estimate was 93.97. Looking good there as well. YouTube ad revenue came in at 9.8 billion. Estimate was 9.56 billion. We don't run YouTube ads on our Top Step show, but shout out to YouTube for providing the platform for us to run these shows every day. AI is positively impacting every part of our business. What we want to hear, especially with the world moving to AI everything right now. Um, Anything else you have on the news, Coach Paul?
Um, no, strong earnings at Google. I think that market was already absorbing that. And we were right near making new highs, onward and upward.
Yes, we are. Some of the other headlines that we did have come out today, potential deal with the U.S. and EU, potential potential tariff deal. Last night we did hear a deal, and the president called it the biggest tariff deal between the U.S. and Japan. And There's a ton of money that is supposed to be coming into the U.S. from Japan as far as investment goes, and the market responded favorably to that. So we'll take a look at the charts, see exactly how we traded today. Did have the S&Ps making new all-time highs. Let's take a look at the quote board really quick. There are 35 different markets we can trade with Topstep accounts, and today to the downside, we have platinum down 1.88%, micro Ethereum futures down 2.8%. It's always sneaking in there. Natural gas down 5.69%. We also had wheat futures down 1.55. To the upside, we had the Russell up 1.42%. Copper up 2.11%, and the Nikkei up 5.26% for our biggest percentage mover to the upside, obviously responding to that US Japan tariff trade deal. Uh, to round out our big four, we had crude oil up 0.17%. The S&P making new all-time highs, actually continuing to make new all-time highs after the close, probably on that Google earnings report. Uh, New all-time highs of 6406.75, up 0.93% on the day. We had gold down 0.33, gold down 0.128%, and the Nasdaq not making new all-time highs unless we did it in the after hours, and we did. Okay, so we did make new all-time highs in the after hours in the Nasdaq. It was lagging a little bit, kind of all day, and no,
Yeah.
we didn't.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Google earnings and who else? The tech earnings.
Yep,
So
we
it
did.
did lag most of the day.
It did. We did not make a new all-time high either. 23,424.75 is still the all-time high that was put in on Monday. But the Nasdaq up 0.79%, kind of lagging all day. Um, let's take a look since the S&P made the all-time high. Let's take a look at what we're seeing on the daily. Coach Paul, what are we looking at here?
Um, what we've been watching for. Um, Onward and upward. They got the news. They wanted. Um, we can go through the movement of the day, but all-time highs. And looks like we are going to continue to push higher. Very solid chart.
Yeah, really strong here. There's a couple of indecisive days, but with some of these tech earnings coming out, we know how heavily weighted these companies are in the S&P and in the Nasdaq. If those companies are doing well, we'll see these indices do well as well. Couple that with tariff deals, and the market has a ton of good news right now. Not really a reason to sell off. Let's take a look at a shorter time frame. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. This was pretty much a rally all day, even
Yeah,
before the news. Go ahead.
yeah. Right after the opening, we had that clearing selling, um, almost as a setup, but um, that's because we were higher on the day when we opened. And look where we went to. Um, we went to test last night's open, didn't even come close. Very solid day.
Yeah, super solid day. We did have a little bit of selling, a pullback, if you will, when the New York session started. But this really was just a trend all day, and a completely different story from the Nasdaq. We'll take a look at the Nasdaq chart. There's not a whole lot to break down here. The market went up, and it went up from the time it opened. But a little bit of a divergence here in the
Russell in the Nasdaq, because
yeah.
Russell was a beast.
Yes, it was. Look at the Nasdaq here. Do a little side by side here. Nasdaq and the S&P. A lot of times you'll hear people say, these markets they move together, and they will, but they are weighted differently, right? And they'd have different components. And sometimes, while you might be looking for a similar move in both, uh, one might provide better opportunities than the other. Now, on a high time frame, these markets did the exact same thing on the day, but this is a much bigger pullback, just you know, cost wise, in the Nasdaq. It we can see the 30-minute opening range from Globex, while the S&P did not pull back all the way to it. The Nasdaq pulled through it and looked like it was going to sell. Shout out to Dakota, trading on fast markets today. He did take a nice short initially. Doom got in the market long, and it held that as well, kind of proving that you can trade two sides of a market. But that short trade, and we've been saying this, has been more of a see money, take money trade in the equities because they are grinding to the upside. You mentioned the Russell and the Dow. Coach Paul, pull up the
Yes.
Russell on the bottom left and the Dow on the bottom right. Even more of a difference here. The Russell, extremely strong all day, kind of looking like the S&P.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it's doing what we were looking for. It's playing catch up. There's the highest percentage, broad-based confidence. And from last night, which I don't trade it, but whatever that news was, we frame out last night's open. It left early. We had urgency that continued till even now as we're right on new highs. But great move. But if we look at the daily, we're far from all-time highs in the Russell. Um,
Sure.
so very impressive move on the Russell today.
Really nice move. Let's take a look. The Russell was up 1.37%. And something that we're seeing consistently, that the Russell is that leading percentage mover in the equities. I don't know how many traders do we have that trade it. But Coach Paul, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago that if there was an equity market that needed to play catch up, it was the Russell. If we zoom out and we look how far we are off that all time high, it's still pretty far. We're still about 12% off that all time high. Jack did mention, we talked about this yesterday, that the Russell pretty much flat over the last 5 years. So do we actually go take out that all time high and play catch up? We'll see. But it's providing some great intraday opportunities. Let's take a look at gold. Genius Genie wants us to take a look at gold, and that is our next market. What are we looking at here on gold in the on the daily chart?
Well, um, just a correction from yesterday, back in fill. We're still over the 20 and the 50, and of course the 200. But we gave back everything we rallied with yesterday. I don't know if that's a why, but let's look at one concerning thing for the longs is we have an engulfing candle here.
Yes.
Now it's only from yesterday's action, but um, uh, other than that, it's still in a bull market. Um, but we're having trouble on these rallies. Let's look at that last rally when we have this pattern with a big feels like a breakout, and literally the next day, those those look exactly the same,
Yeah.
and it's coming right at halfway on that blow off top. But overall, I still think this market looks strong, but um, I'm actually kind of surprised it broke as hard as it did. But
Yeah.
let's look. It started last night and couldn't find follow through buying.
Let's take a look. And the one thing on the daily, really quick, here, like you said, these candle that made the all time high, that blow off top, making lower highs here.
Yeah.
Where for me, I was looking for at least a test of the 71 level, and we didn't even get up there, and we're kind of falling out of this range again. Um, on the half an hour, let's take a look at last night's open. Just looking heavy. Do we think that part of this is the equities and things like Bitcoin rallying right now and just maybe providing better returns to the
Well,
upside?
well, maybe it's literally maybe it's the trade deals.
Yeah.
The threat of a trade war getting hot and heavy. I don't know, but technically, I was looking for a dip to buy, couldn't find one.
I was as
Thankfully.
well, and I did find
Um,
one, and I took a loss for it.
oh, well, you tried. Um, but it's interesting. We did not. Price took off in Asia, but there was no volume following it. And by VWAP, once VWAP broke out, we came into Europe, London time.
Here is the London Open here.
Still in the range, but U.S. Open.
Yeah, that really took off. And we, like you said, you had the engulfing candle. We pretty much just gave back all of yesterday's range. Still holding that uptrend a little bit. Again, if we look back at the daily, we kind of just pulled back to halfway of the 2-day uptrend that we had. So to me, the question is, does this hold? On the 30-minute, we have the 200 moving average that's right there. Kind of stopped a little bit short of it. We know how often we see the market respond to this level. But really nice trade to the downside. Take a look at the 1 minute opening range. I know we were on the opening call this morning. Hogan JD look for this trade every day. And the market did a great job of not letting us in. Uh, JD
Yeah.
joined the offer on this trade with 5 micros. And we made the joke that said, you know what, we've been so good at taking this trade that uh, whoever the market makers are kept us out. You know how they take the trade? They go one tick below the opening range to short, and one tick above the opening range to get in. And it's just that's just the way we've decided, or they've decided to execute on that trade. Coach Paul, I know for you, and this is just an execution thing. You say, "Hey, I want to get in. If I want to get into the trade, this is a case where going right to the market would have gotten you in the trade." But I think logistically for traders, whatever you do, you just keep that consistent, right? We see Dakota. I'm usually a market out of a trade type of person, and I'll limit in. Um, we see Dakota all the time limit out of a trade, right? So if we're selling off, he'll join the bid and wait for the market to come down and hit him. Um, and there's just times where that doesn't happen either. I you know I don't know if there is a right or a wrong. I do know that if you're hitting that market button, there's a guarantee that you're getting into that market.
Um, yeah, that debate goes on and on and on.
Yep.
You said something though, you have to be consistent with it.
Right.
If you're not consistent with it, then you're going to get the worst of both worlds, not the best. Um, so now there was a chance. Interesting, it came back to the bottom of that opening range
It
and
did.
still didn't let them in.
No, it didn't. So it came to within a tick, and maybe the micros are a little bit different, but we can see it never hit the low of that opening range, which was 38.90, and the high of this candle here is 36.80. The micros might have been a little bit different. Let's take a look, but JD left the offer out there, and the market just did not let us in. And if you remember, two days in a row, they had an all-day trade. This would have been another one. So I think what I'm kind of saying here is gold is presenting some great opportunities, even in this consolidation that it's in on a higher time frame. The low of the opening range in the micros was 39 evens, and this candle came up to
38.
38.8. So literally a one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were the
Yeah.
spread there, and did not get hit, but would have been a great trade. One that maybe you look at for tomorrow as well, because 3 days in a row, it's presented a great trade. Now, is it always going to do that? No, but looking at that trade, that opening range was dead as high of the day, and you could
But
have let the auto liquidator close that. Go ahead, coach.
we're sitting near the lows as we speak.
Yep.
Hmm. Tonight, and we're just above the 200. Tonight should be very interesting in gold.
Yes, it should be.
Um,
Yes, it should. Anything else you got on gold, Coach Paul?
that's it.
Speaking of metals, just real quick, we did have copper make new all-time highs as well. We've seen this market make a couple new all-time highs recently, and just continuing to push up.
God, that looks bullish.
Yes, it does. Genius Genie says, Coach, GC needs a lot of patience. It's hard since I'm coming off of MN. Uh, I would argue that the Nasdaq needs a lot of patience today, or recently. You know, the pace of the Nasdaq is usually pretty fast, but what we've seen over the past couple of maybe even weeks is the Nasdaq kind of not being that fast paced market anymore. If we look at gold, this gold trade today, that was urgency from that opening range breakout. That was, in an hour, you had a, 0.7% move in an hour in gold, which is a pretty big move.
Gold.
Let's take.
Well, what's interesting is VWAP left early.
Yep. Yes, it did. Yeah, real quick. On the first minute, we were out of that range, and no looking back. Let's take a look at crude oil real quick, because what is there to say about this market, Coach Paul?
Oh, you didn't hear me say it? There's nothing to say. But, um, nothing to say. Wow.
Yeah. Me, I think the one thing to say is that this is not presenting a ton of opportunity for how I trade. Talk about patience. You know, there's not a lot here right now. We do see some
There's
headlines coming out for crude oil and things like that. Less than $1 range today. The daily ATR is $2, so half of that, and even that $2 is pretty small. Less than $1 range. If you're finding opportunities in crude, this is where I think patience is required, right? Where the low of the range might be somewhere near the 64.50s area, upper extreme of the range somewhere near 65. If you're getting along, excuse me, here in crude oil, you almost have to wait all day for it to get to the other side of the range. And I just don't know, in my own personal opinion, how beneficial that is to my trading. You were going to say something, Coach Paul.
Yeah, I mean, we can overanalyze it. It's in balance. It's going to take some kind of outside event to get this market moving.
Mm,
Um, whatever that is. I don't even watch it right now. Um,
yeah,
tempted to get in and do something. This is a commercial market right now, where the players are the commercial entities that are involved in the crude oil business. Otherwise, for us speculators, day traders, it's kind of a tough place.
100%. I did mention natural gas during the opening call this morning. Let's just look. Natural gas, an energy market. If you're an energy trader, maybe you don't want to stick with the equities. You don't love how they move. You don't love trading markets that are making new all-time highs. Take a look at nat gas. Right, this is on a daily, a market that's in a downtrend on a higher time frame. We'll go down to a shorter time frame. Look at the 30. Uh, this is a trending market. Right, we're under the 200 moving average on the 30. 20 and the 50 are trending lower as well, getting some separation here. And the same trade that we look for in crude oil, which is that 1 minute opening range uh, breakout, right? Those guys are JD and Hogue are looking for that trade. 1 minute opening range break in natural gas, providing a completely different opportunity here. Kind of looking like that gold trade, right? Where we have a 3% move to the downside now. A lot of people mention that gas. Coach Paul, what do they say?
Widow
The
maker.
Widowmaker, stay away. Oh my God, it's going to take all your money. Uh, no market can take all your money if you establish your risk. Now, you can trade micro nat gas. You can set a stop. You don't have to marry a position. If I get long here, I don't have to sit through a 3% drawdown to try to hope the market comes back because that's just not good trading anyway. But it's a market that's moving, right? You have to apply the same principles that you would anywhere else. Um, but it's a market that's providing opportunity. And we say it every time we start this session. Our job is to identify opportunity and see how we could take advantage of those. Um, I think the great thing about trading, uh, with Topstep, especially if you're in a combine or an XFA, is Coach Paul. If I want to trade all these markets with my own money, I'm paying out a decent amount of money to the exchanges for the data for all of these. Uh, where just monthly, I'm paying out a ton of money for data. Where you don't have to do that here with Topstep. Experiment with a bunch of different markets. Do it in a practice account. Go ahead, Coach Paul.
It's a very big number. It's more than blowing 5 combines
Right,
a month.
right.
Um, so Um, understand we're not paying that as in combines, but it's something to consider down the line. It's not cheap. And that exchange fee goes to every exchange. We call it the CME. They call it NYMEX, CBOT, CME, and who did I miss? COMEX, gold and silver. They're all different exchanges. So if you get quotes in all of them, you're talking about $600 a month. Quotes, whether you trade or not. Um, so it's something to understand. Um, doesn't make me happy and at all. But hey, we can move on. How about silver?
Let's take a look at silver on a daily. I know we were talking about potentially trading up to that $40 level in silver here. Kind of an indecisive day today.
High of the move.
High of the move, and then a rejection at the high. Like an interesting day here because that high of the move came right at the end of the day or right in the middle of the day. I guess this is kind of end of the day for silver
End of
because
the day
metals
for
do close
silver. Yeah.
early. Yeah, that looked tough today.
Silver for Mike said silver's always tough. Um, but it did make that. Boy, did he get rejected?
Yeah, it did. Somebody must have been sitting up there on the offer right below 40s.
Um, yeah,
You
they
shall
can't.
not pass.
Yeah, I've got some more. Keep bidding. I will give you some more at 39.5. But tough chart. But daily looks. I mean, it's a bull market. Um, but not a big day.
Not a big day at all. Let us know if there are any other markets you want us to take a look at. We are kind of coming up on time. I do want to still end early or end on time because we have coaches running sessions, so we don't want to bleed over into those. We do have a question from Chauncey here. Remember, anything we say here is for educational purposes only, not investment or trade advice. A question from Chauncey, more of a long-term non-day trade question. As we move into all-time highs, is it wise to pull some of our exposure in our 401ks to protect from potential downside and to buy more at lower prices? I'm going to say no. But what do you say, Coach Ball?
First of all, I can't give investment advice,
Yep.
but overall, protecting capital isn't a bad idea, but it really is about what age you are.
Yes. Yeah, that's
In your
that's the real answer.
20s, lean on it is what I did. But as you get older, yeah, you have to start protecting and move. So there's a whole formula for that, and I would ask a financial advisor. But I think the biggest variant in that question is your age. Um, if you're in your 60s, you don't need growth. You need protection. In your 20s, you want growth. You don't need to protect. Um, so that's the way I look at it.
A much better answer than mine, and that is the wise wisdom of a man that's been in the markets for longer than I've been alive. I appreciate that, Coach Paul, because my answer was just no. But there's a lot more to consider there. A lot more to consider. We got one request for ZB, and we can probably wrap it from there, unless there's anything else you want to take a look at, Coach Paul.
I was just looking at ZB on my chart. So let's bring it up.
All right, here we go. ZB on the daily.
Nothing there. I'm still in a downtrend. It's interesting is we had this big rally after PPI. Not even big. I'll call it correctional. We cannot. It hasn't gotten above the 20-day moving average. We're still above the 200 moving average in the 30-minute. I'm gonna look at that tomorrow, but I don't see. I don't feel. Is there any big reports coming out?
Not this week. Really, not this week. We do have a Fed meeting next week, but this week we kind of got all the big stuff out of the way. Uh, yeah, we kind of got all the big stuff out of the way. So
Yeah, I think it's. I don't see much there. It is above the 200, and the 200 is curving up. That's friendly, but it's been hard to trade.
mm,
Um, yeah, I don't see much opportunity. Kind of, this is like the crude right now.
right, right.
Um,
We did get a question in the chat from Creed. What was the cause of the big move to the upside in the Nasdaq and the ES? Thank you guys for putting that in the chat. Tariff news. U.S. trade deal, Japan trade deal last night. We don't trade, but you'll hear myself, Coach Paul. News expedites a move. I'm usually not looking for the news to take a trade, but keep an eye on the headlines. Are hearing a lot more of the T word recently. Uh, if we're continuing to make deals, we'll see the market. Um, respond to those deals, whether they're potential deals or putting ink to paper. The markets are going to respond to that, and right now they've been responding favorably. We see the S&P making new all-time highs, and Nasdaq a couple ticks off of an all-time high.
and sadly, cattle made an all-time high today.
Still got those ribeyes in the freezer, sitting on them. Maybe when we get to a market keeps going up, I can't eat them. I'm
um,
eating my money.
wow, what a move. Sad, man. I forgot what meat looks like. Can't. I'm not willing to pay that kind of price. Um, but quite a rally today into all-time highs. It's not something that's going to change anytime soon. You can't just magically make cattle, or we'd have steak every night, wouldn't we?
Right. That is a bullish market as well. I know we don't trade it or talk about it often. Coach Hoop talks about it all the time. And speaking of Coach Hoop, he has his class coming up in Discord in just a couple minutes. I am sure he is going to be talking about this cattle rally. You see him in the chat uh, all the time saying cattle's moving, and it is kind of continuing to push to all-time highs. Bullet Trader says nothing like aged ribeye. The problem is freezer aged ribeye isn't always great. So I got to cook those eventually, or throw them out.
Yeah, it loses. I think it's 2 months.
Yeah, I've had them in there for about maybe a month. Uh,
You better send them to me, and I'll make sure they're good. Good. I'll jump on that grenade for you, Coach.
thank you, thank you. But all right, my nephew's visiting. You guys can probably hear him crying in the background.
He was long goal today.
yeah, yeah, he was. Coach Paul, any final words before we go? Again, sorry everyone for starting the show late. Go drink some fluids and stuff like that. Hopefully feel better. I'll be back for slow markets. But Coach Paul, any final words before we head out for the day?
Um, yeah, the same as always. Trade your plan, plan your trade. Um, find the discipline. Trade well, and we'll talk again tomorrow. And you feel better, please.
Thanks, man. Thank you all for joining. If you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up button on the way out, or hit the thumbs down if you want. Just today, though, just because we started late. But remember, that's just for today. Tell us how you feel. But Andrew, thank you as always for helping us run this session. Thank you all for joining. Trade well, manage your risk, and I will see you all soon. Have a good one. Bye.
All right.